So let's say we've kind of broken down somebody's squat. We found the optimal setup position, their hip width and their foot rotation, and just kind of figuring out where exactly their feet need to be. We've worked on keeping a neutral spine. We've got a good bar position that allows our shoulders to be in the right place. But for some reason, they're still not hitting depth. Some people will have an orthopedic issue, which only allows their knees or their hips or their ankles to move so much. But let's say we've screened those things out and it's more just a motor control problem, or that person, in other words, just doesn't know how to move that way. And so here are a couple drills we can use to just help them find their position and control their body a little better to get comfortable down there. Because changing where your weight is or where your body's going in a squat can, especially under load or a bar, a dumbbell, anything like that, it can be a little frightening because a lot of people feel like they're going to fall over. A lot of people are way back or they're way forward in the squat, and to try to change that makes them really feel off balance. Obviously, we want the weight to be centered in the foot. You'll hear a lot of coaches cue weight in the heels. Very rarely will you hear weight in the toes. You really don't want either. You want the weight evenly dispersed throughout the whole foot. That foot is your contact with the ground, it's your base, and we don't really want to be on one end of it because that will make you unbalanced. So let's say I'm coming into my squat here and we've checked my mobility in my ankles, it's fine, hips, knees, everything moves fine, but for some reason I still squat way back here and I kind of get stuck here, and I can either stop here and do a half squat, or I can keep going and lose my good spine positioning. Something like rings or a band or something to hold on to that's going to let me sit back a little bit more with my weight centered over my feet. You can control how much you're using this or how little you're using this, but really we want to make sure that that weight stays right over your feet and that you're not sat way back. And that's a good place to start, is if somebody hangs on to this and they still do their way back squat, okay, now can we get them to slide their knees forward and get into a position where now we're centered up. And that can be just that there, to go from here to there and maybe slightly decrease how much they're using their hands, drive their knees out, and really hold this position here, get comfortable here, brace a little bit, keep a straight back, and can I let go and hold this position? If I can own this position, I can probably get up from here just fine. So how do we progress from that? We would typically go to the box. And so we are using, in this case, a 12-inch box, but I'm setting up much in the same way. I'm just gonna sit down on this box, and I'm already hips below knees. I'm in a good position. I'm gonna get my feet set up the way I like them. I'm gonna be tall, and I'm just going to stand up. Now that's easy for me because I've worked on it, but you'll see a lot of people back here trying to stand up. It's not going to happen. We want to get them here. Again, this is what we don't want to see happening. This is the pattern we're trying to correct. So we're really going to make sure those knees are over your toes. If your coach tells you your knees can't go past your toes, fire him or her. Straight up, that's how I feel about it. If someone tells you your knees can't go over your toes and you don't have a specific orthopedic reason why not, that's not true. So don't listen to that person. Anyways, knees over toes. We're gonna find our good tall position. Sometimes in this case, people need a counterbalance. We can get a dumbbell, we can add some weight. We're gonna hold it close to the chest. We're not gonna let it float out here where we can kind of cheat with it. You're gonna keep it here. We're gonna get into a good neutral spine. Weight's centered over our feet. My weight should be right over the middle of my feet. That's where my dumbbell should be. That's the load I'm moving. And I'm just going to push the floor away and stand. If people can get this, it transfers pretty well over into a squat, and then eventually we just take the box away, or we work on just owning this position here. We want to stop here, get strong and comfortable here, and then relax. Or we pause and stand. And coming down, we pause and we sit. So that when we take this box away, people don't feel like they're plummeting to the ground. They learn how to stop themselves in the right position. So that's kind of our final drill for progressing control of the squat and fixing the good morning squat. And so try it out. Let me know what you think.